We're in São Miguel, Portugal for 9 days, so hit that subscribe button because we'll show you what we eat and more of this. I'm Catherine.
And I'm Brian.
And we went back to the Azores. We previously traveled to my grandparents' home in São Miguel, Portugal, and made a couple videos for you where we cooked a meal in a volcano, and I attempted to harvest the banana blossoms from my grandparents' banana trees. And you can watch that video next to see why that was an attempt and not very successful in a culinary sense.
It was okay. It wasn't awful.
But it was successful at being a great experience. So that's why we wanted to go back. And this time our plan was to show you more of the sights the island has to offer and give you some insight into how we, as two plant-based eaters, fared.
Or didn't fare, really, to be honest.
Morning number one, we just got here.
Got some bananas right off the trees.
Got some granola with some goji berries and some rice puffs.
Found this crunchy muesli. We found soy milk. We have some coconut flakes. After having traveled to the island before, we knew that we were going to have to rely on some groceries. So our plan was to stop at the big supermarket Continente in a big mall that's in the main city of Ponta Delgada, but we just traveled.
I didn't really feel like grocery shopping.
We were a little tired, and we ended up stopping at a smaller local grocery store in a town called Sete, and the store was called Mayo Super, and they had a whole little natural food section that had goji berries and shredded coconut. They had a huge variety of plant milks. There was like oat, almond, soy.
Plant-based butter.
And we got a bunch of granolas, lots of beans, so that we weren't surprised about. Lots of nuts. I didn't really have a plan. Maybe would have helped us out a little bit, but they did have some whole wheat bread, so I picked that up because I figured it would probably come in handy for some quick meals, a quick lunch while you're on the go. That was my plan.
Yeah.
In total, we spent about €100 on groceries, and we didn't leave too much behind.
No, we didn't.
And with our groceries, we headed out to my grandparents' house in the village Mosteiros, and there were fresh figs and fresh bananas straight from the tree waiting for us.
Breakfast of champions.
And then we're gonna brush our teeth and shower and sleep. After sleep,
The best sleep. It was so good.
we decided to head down to Sunset Steve's bar for a vegetarian burger. And it is a vegetarian burger. So it's a breaded, plant-based veggie patty, but there is dairy cheese on it. So if you're a little less sleep deprived than us, then you would have been able to order it without the cheese instead of having to pick around it.
It served a purpose for night one.
But Steve's has amazing drinks as well. So that's essentially what we did, and enjoyed the sunset. And our breakfast, day 2, looked a lot like breakfast day 1.
But honestly, I loved our breakfast. They were so good. I want a fig tree.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And this day got a little derailed from our plan because I ended up getting an audition for my day job as an actor that we had to film. So we just set out for another walk and we explored the beach on the other side.
Is that the beach that you almost got swallowed up in as a child and lost your bathing suit and your brother had to rescue you when you were topless?
Oh gosh. Short answer, yes. The undertow at this beach can be very, very strong. The sand is really, really soft. There's a huge drop off. The wave comes up, but there's like a huge, like a hill of the sand because it just collapses. You have to be very careful if you're swimming here. And I'm a really strong swimmer, but I was about, 2 feet into the ocean and it just sucked me under. And I was in this cycle of getting sucked under with the undertow and then trying to get up. And the waves were so strong that my entire bathing suit, which was probably like a teenager bathing suit. I had some like strings. It wasn't very supportive, but it completely came off. My younger brother was trying to pull me out of the water and I was like, I can't, I'm naked.
That's a beach you look at.
We just looked at the water. And after all that excitement, it was time for a snack. One of my favorite Portuguese snacks is tremoço. These are lupin beans or lupini beans. I have actually a recipe for them in our Portuguese ebook where I jazz them up a little bit with some pimenta and some lemon, and you can serve it as an appetizer.
They're so good. They're sort of like a Portuguese edamame.
Exactly. If you're in Portugal and you're a vegan and you want some little high protein snack to have with you, then pick up some tremoço, give it a try. And we had the tremoço with some guava that we picked straight from my grandparents' trees. Oh, and I got some meal prep in on this day as well.
I'm prepping some carrots that we'll have as part of our dinner probably tonight. I'm not sure what it'll become, but can always just do some food prep while you're sitting in a beautiful garden.
Got some quinoa, got some sweet potatoes.
The trouble is I don't have many seasonings, so I'm thinking I'm gonna try making some sort of peanut dressing with the little that I have, and maybe doing like a quinoa salad that has some carrot and cucumber and sort of like a peanutty sauce.
I'm in.
We'll see.
It was another beautiful evening though. We actually decided to have dinner out again. We found a food truck called Ferraria, which means foot of the sand.
We had another veggie burger.
It was a vegan burger.
Yeah.
Specifically vegan.
It was topped with seaweed salad, which was super interesting. I'd be down to like try and make something like that. Like a
That's
fishy
interesting.
burger, but put seaweed
Salad on it. And it had a charcoal bun.
It was better, I think, than Steve's.
I think so. Like if you're vegan and you want a burger there, then I would go with the true vegan burger. The toppings made it a little more interesting. But there are quite a few plant-based options on this menu, so it's a great spot.
Haven't found any measuring cups, so I'm gonna use this little teacup as my measuring cup for our oatmeal. I figure as long as I do the oatmeal and the water with the same cup, then it'll be basically accurate.
PB&J oats with some
Strawberry jam.
goji berries and soy milk.
And I almost forgot our little homegrown bananas. Gotta put some of that on.
Wee little bananas.
They came off my grandpa's trees. How cool is that? It's actually like the perfect little portion for oatmeal. It's not too much, not too little. It's just right.
Today we're exploring the capital of the Azores, the main city, Ponta Delgada. And our first stop is the Aruda Pineapple Plantation. This is an amazing free experience. You can visit this plantation that used to be one of the largest exporters of pineapples to Europe and now mostly focuses on tourism. And you can look into their whitewashed greenhouses, see the whole process for growing pineapples, and you can learn about how they accidentally discovered that smoke helps to make all of the pineapples bloom at the same time. There was a fire and all the pineapples flourished. So now they have a part of their growing process where they smoke the greenhouses for 8 to 10 days, and it takes 18 to 24 months to grow one pineapple.
You can smell the smoke. So cool.
And who knew that pineapples start out red? If you knew that pineapples start out red, then put your hand up in the comments. And they make a lot of products from their pineapples. So there's a popular pineapple liqueur, which you can taste test for free.
It's really good. It's 27%, so
I'll drive home.
she's strong.
Outside in the very adorable patio, you can order a few things, and we tried the tasting platter. So there was their pineapple jam, a pineapple chutney, and a pineapple mustard.
I just had the chutney. It was really good. The pineapple jam is super sweet and tasty. And this is a mustard, I think. It doesn't really look like a mustard. It's like a jammy mustard. It's more like jam with a bit of hint of mustard in it.
We had plans to have dinner in the main city, Ponta Delgada. We took in the sights of the historic town with the black and white mosaic basalt streets.
So cool.
The city gates that were built in the 1700s. We were heading to a vegetarian restaurant called Roots that we were so excited to eat at. In Portuguese, the name is Rotas, but we didn't make a reservation, and it's a small restaurant, and we were very happy to see that they were very busy. They were taking reservations a week out. Wow. Their menu looks delicious. It's very popular. So if you're going to Ponta Delgada and you want some vegetarian, vegan friendly, gluten-free friendly food, then make sure you make a reservation. On a previous trip, we had a couple meals at another restaurant called Louvre Michelin's. They have some great vegan options, and they are closed on Thursdays.
And we happened to be there on a Thursday. That Louvre place has great vegan cakes.
Yeah, desserts. And instead of hummus, I think it was like a fava bean
Yes.
hummus.
Yeah,
And fava beans are more Portuguese,
That'd be
so that
another
was
good
really
recipe to
fun.
make.
Yeah, that's true.
Fava bean hummus.
Back in my brain. In our video where we move from Toronto to British Columbia and we do a whole week road trip to get here, one of our tips in that video for how to survive as a vegan on a road trip is to look out for restaurants that have Asian or South Asian cuisines. So that is what we did,
was
which
great.
was an amazing Indian restaurant and had so many options for us. They really easily altered anything that was vegetarian to be vegan. We had appetizers, we had curries, we had biryani, we had naan.
It was really filling too. There was a lot of food.
Yeah.
It was great.
And we had leftovers, which we put to good use. That's coming up. Oh, and this shop is right in the main square. You might think that this is a chocolate shop, but more appropriate for Portugal, they're sardines. They even had an option for us. So we're gonna taste test these.
All right, let's open them up.
So it says chickpea and carrot patties.
Here we go.
It's just like a chickpea patty. I like that though. It's really savory and it's nice to be included, but it's certainly not sardines. We're just sitting here having a coffee, looking at the fig tree and looking at the grapes above my head. These aren't ready. They're very hard, but it got me thinking I should take all of you on a garden tour. Some guava, another big fig tree, banana plants. Some bananas almost ready there. You should watch our other video where I tried to harvest the banana heart or the banana flower. This is where all of the bananas grow from. So you can see these are all lost potential bananas that didn't ripen, become fruit. It was a bit of a fail when I tried to harvest the banana blossom and cook with it, but it was a pretty fun experiment anyway. So check that one out. More ripe guava. I'm not sure what this tree is, or if it's a fruiting tree. Oh, these are the custard apple trees. There's one over here, come look. So this is a custard apple. It has a few different names. I think it's kind of close to soursop, but I've never had the fruit. And my grandpa says the fruit doesn't ripen all that well here, I don't think. But he uses these leaves as a tea. He dries them out. I don't know how scientifically proven it is, but the locals swear that drinking the tea every day helps lower cholesterol. One year I decided to try to make some tea. I think it was a pandemic little project of mine. I tried to make some more tea blends and I added some peppermint and lemon peel and kind of made my own little tea blend with these custard apple leaves. Some oranges. I think these are ready in December, and my grandpa said that the oranges aren't good this year, that the wind blew off the flowers too early, but I don't know, it looks like they have a lot, so I'll have to show him. Pretty sure there's a few different varieties of oranges. And then over here, there's some huge squash. Thanks for coming along on the garden tour. Driving in São Miguel can be a bit of an experience on its own.
Yep. Yeah.
Driving down to these thermal pools in Ferraria, it's an experience. But the thermal pools at the bottom are well worth it. I'm ready to get in. So this is another great free activity to do on the island. There is a spa here that you can get some treatments at as well, but the pools are free, the change rooms are free, the washroom area, and this is a really popular spot because these thermal pools, so they're heated by a volcanic vent that's underneath them, but then they're cooled by the ocean that's constantly coming in. So they're warm, but they're not super hot.
No, but it's comfortable.
The larger pool is really fun because it becomes kind of a natural wave pool, which can be a bit intense. There's ropes that you can hang on to because you will get thrashed around a little bit, but that one was really busy. So we decided to go to a smaller pool that was right beside the big busy pool that no one was at, and that's how we roll.
Yeah.
And then we needed some protein to get us back up that cliff.
Catherine made some PB&J sandwiches with some bread, getting a little protein fill, mainly because we're about to drive back up Mountain of Doom. PB&J, never underestimate it.
I had scouted out a place that we could have lunch, and again, didn't pay the closest attention to their opening hours, but we managed to sneak in just as they were closing between lunch and dinner. But the staff here was so wonderful.
Jeanette's, right next to the grocery store.
They had a vegan pizza.
Yeah.
It said like vegano. We took our pizza to go, and there are so many really beautiful lookouts that you can stop at and have picnics at all over the island.
And they have a lot of them have running water and picnic tables and little fire pits for like having a barbecue or something like that.
Pizza review. This is good pizza. I mean, it's not just good pizza for where we are. This is some pretty good vegan pizza.
This trail goes down to the Rocha de Relva, and some of my family used to have cottages down here. It's a pretty epic walk, so come along with us. little to swim. I think he would skip school to come swim. One of my grandmothers came down here to do laundry, and my great-grandfather would carry my uncle down on his shoulders.
That's what they would walk down.
That whole, like, I had to walk to school, what is
Uphill,
that? Uphill both ways with no shoes on.
It was really true. Whoa, here we go.
And then to our surprise, the last time Brian and I were here, we didn't keep walking past that first bit of village. And apparently this trail goes really far, and there's so many more cottages. So we're gonna keep exploring and see what we find. What's your step?
This is honestly the coolest place I've ever been.
Can't imagine living here. Wow. I took this apple from a lounge at the airport. It's coming in handy. There's a stove here, so clean it out a little. And what do you think? New kitchen for a tasty, thrifty, timely with a view like this? I think I could go for this.
We're heading back up. That way.
And then we capped off this big day with a smorgasbord of dinner. Some leftover Indian food on some of that quinoa that I prepped, and with some of these sweet potatoes that don't really look like our sweet potatoes that we're used to, but they are called batata douce.
We bought some chocolate bars, so we'll have some of those.
Some chocolate bars. I said that a little Portuguese.
You know, been on the island for 4 days now, starting to rub off.
Trying to prepare some food for tomorrow because we'll be on the road for a hike. I'm cooking some red onion and chickpeas, and we have some of that quinoa that I cooked, and those carrots I prepped, and some cucumber. And I've just stirred up a little like peanut sauce with some Portuguese pimenta that my grandma has here. So I'm gonna toss everything together and see what it becomes. Day 5, we set out for the most easterly villages on the island to take in some waterfalls.
One waterfall. One waterfall that way. Don't know why all of a sudden I'm Irish, but here we are in Portugal. One waterfall that way. We're gonna go take a dip, and we're gonna come back up, and we're gonna go up even higher through an abandoned village. And we're gonna get another waterfall, and that one apparently people don't really do, but we drove a long way to get here, so.
Us and the roosters are gonna do it?
Yeah, I guess this is just the land where they run free, because I don't think anybody's tending to them up here. Comments from the airplane.
Don't turn those down. If you're not gonna eat them, stash them away. You never know where they might come in handy, like at the base of a waterfall after a hike.
It's been straight uphill, but second waterfall, abandoned village coming up, right?
Yeah, I feel like going up's gonna be easier than going down. Even though usually you get excited for going down, but when it's that steep, I'm gonna be sliding on my bum.
It's okay.
I just don't know where this abandoned village is. I understand why it's abandoned, but it doesn't seem like we're gonna reach one. But I'm trusting Brian.
It's that way.
Okay. And then finally we found the abandoned village. There's a bar and a washroom. I've had to pee for like 4 hours. So I read on a sign back there that this used to be a pretty wealthy village, and then with all of the immigration to the US and Canada, and it being quite difficult for children to get to schools, most of these homes were abandoned. I think the sign might have said early 2000s, but the BBC did a documentary on this place and called it the Lost Village of Sanguinho. I think that's what it's called. And then apparently some of these places are for rent on Airbnb. Obviously there's that little cafe there. It's too bad the cafe was closed for us because we could use a little refreshment. Obviously, I had some food on the mind, so we headed to our next spot where I knew that we would have a nice little picnic area.
So now we're walking down to a lighthouse, and it was recommended to walk this trail and not drive it because it's a little steep, and I'll show you how steep it is.
Punta do Arnel is a lighthouse in Nordeste, and it was actually the first lighthouse built in the Azores in 1876. You can take free guided tours of the lighthouse for a few hours in the afternoon, but we were too late to do that. But we did see the lighthouse keeper.
Yeah, he was hanging up his laundry in the back.
So this is what that little quinoa salad became. Some chickpeas, some cucumber, carrot, and then this morning I tossed on some fried onion and pumpkin seeds. And you saw me make the dressing of peanut butter, some pimenta, and I tossed in a little bit of juice from the Tremoço jar because I needed something sort of vinegary, and that's all I had. So the end product is all right, I'd say.
I had picked up crispy onions from the grocery store on our first haul.
It was great. It was a great little flavor booster.
Yeah, I was like, maybe this will make things look a little fancier.
Having another breakfast. I find breakfast is the easiest meal to make when you're traveling. Because a whole bunch of granola and fruit, and you're pretty good to go. And we had some leftover coffee from yesterday, so we have kind of a little iced coffee situation without the ice. But yeah, some more figs, some more bananas, some more guava from my grandparents' fruit trees. And then I'm gonna try some sort of curry situation for dinner. We'll see what that becomes.
It's pretty cool that my grandparents' home is in Mosteiros. These natural pools are a tourist destination. They're so cool.
The day we went swimming, on this day, the water was so calm. It was perfect.
Yeah, we arrived at the perfect time where the tide was out, and so these pools are naturally carved into the volcanic rock, and they're pretty warm because the sun bakes that black rock all day long. So they're not hot, but they're really pleasant to swim in, especially when the tide is low, and they're really calm and perfect for jumping in.
How cool is that?
It's pretty cool. So we've come back from a swim, and I tried to make these little rice crackers a little more tasty. They weren't the tastiest thing, so I put some smashed avocado on them and chopped up some olives, and there's some fried onion on top. So we'll see how this is. We're having some handy tremoço for a little bit of a protein hit, and some leftovers of this quinoa salad concoction that we took on the road with us yesterday.
Better?
Oh, I put some pepper on top, and it's actually kind of nice. You can get like a little pepper pizzazz. So I'm trying to make a curry, and I have some red onion in here with chickpeas and some of that sweet potato that I prepped a couple days ago, and some coconut milk. And I was trying to think of a way to make like somewhat flavorful meals with not many spices. So we picked up this curry powder mixture at the market. And so a curry it is, and hopefully this will be relatively flavorful. That's pretty good. I found that the salt that they have here is very potent, so it might need a little bit of sugar to balance it out a little bit. And my grandma does have sugar, so we'll be clear with that.
Now, what's way up there, Catherine?
Way up there, it's called the Pico de Mafra, and that's where both of my grandparents grew up. So their old family homes are still there. You can hike all the way up that mountain. They used to have to do that all the time to just go to church and get groceries and things like that. But we're gonna do it for fun and bring you along with us.
Turns out we didn't have very much left in our legs.
Jelly in our legs.
So we drove up. And then some dinner.
I realized that my grandparents don't have any oil or vinegar here, so, or at least that I can find. So we have plain salad, but getting some greens in. And the curry isn't too bad with limited resources.
This is good. Curry powder is all you need. It's a good tip.
We had breakfast, some snacks were packed, and we headed out for another day of sightseeing. This time we headed to the village of Furnas. This village is popular for tourists because of its massive geothermal activity. And São Miguel has 6 volcanic zones, and Furnas sits in a dormant volcanic crater. And the last eruption in this area was 1630, and I think the last eruption on São Miguel was 1652. And there are lava tube caves that you can explore in Punta Delgada if you want to learn more about the volcanic history of the island and how it was created. But you can also see all of the volcanic activity in the Furnas.
You can smell it. Like,
And what does it smell like?
Like eggs went bad inside of a sauna.
The ground is bubbling, it's boiling, steam is billowing. Besides the calderas, there are also fountains all around this village where you can taste mineral water from various natural springs. And they all taste a little different. And there's even some local lore that different springs can treat various afflictions, from a stomach ache to hangovers.
I saw someone fill up their water bottle there, so I was like, that one's good. If you like really carbonated, like Perrier with a massive mineral content, then maybe you would enjoy this.
It's got a way of just...
Sticking with you?
That one's not so bad, but
Do you want to taste the other one?
that one's worse.
And a distinct memory that I have from traveling here as a kid is the corn vendors.
it's pretty cool.
And so this is corn on the cob that they actually boil in one of the calderas. We have some video of that, of the bags of corn.
What is that bag made out of? How does it sustain that heat?
The
It's just
heat.
a potato sack, I guess? I don't know.
Yes, I don't know. You can see that the water's a little yellow from the corn boiling in there. And I think the price has gone up a little bit since I was a kid, but it's still really fun to have a little vegan snack that is local to that area, cooked in a really interesting way that we can partake in.
It tastes really kind of like buttery, but there isn't any butter on it. It's like super smooth. If it was less hot, it would help me think a little better too.
Yeah, it does taste less sweet than like corn back in Canada. It was good, very like simple.
The really popular culinary experience that you can have in the Furnas is the cozido, which is a big boil of meats and vegetables. And you might be able to find a restaurant where you could just order the vegetables from the cozido. I'm not sure if that's a thing, but it might be. And as long as you were fine with them being boiled in a pot that had meat as well, then you could get a taste of what that's like. Or you can make the version that I have in our vegan Portuguese cookbook, where I recreate that cozido, but with all plant-friendly ingredients. Another amazing spot in the Furnas is Terra Nostra, and this park has an entrance fee. It's a beautiful park with thermal pools, and the volcanic soil has created these lush gardens. There's a variety of aquatic plants, there's ponds, there's palms and bamboo, beautiful flowers.
Randomly some dinosaurs in a garden.
Some zoomorphic structures. Dinosaurs, rabbits, flamingos.
It's a beautiful garden, and it's big. You can walk around in there that would be like a good day, I think, you could spend in there.
And then because you can spend so long in there, there's food options too. The Terra Nostra Hotel has a beautiful restaurant, and they also have a garden terrace. If you are more prepared than we were for a nice sit-down meal, then they do have some vegan options. So look into that. But super handy, they also operate a little food truck in the grounds of the garden, which we weren't expecting.
No.
And they had amazing looking healthy wraps and salads, the best pastel de natas that we saw.
Yeah, they were the best looking. Yeah, we didn't eat them because they're not vegan, but
No, we couldn't find any vegan ones.
Yeah.
So again, you'll have to pick up my cookbook and make my vegan pastel de nata to give that a try. But we did order a salad that looked like it was going to be vegan. And then just before the employee handed it to me, they squirted on a dressing that I think was mayonnaise based. Again, they spoke English well. So as you're ordering, you can make sure that nothing's going to be added that has dairy. And now the moment we know you've been waiting for, you want to see if we actually got into that orange water. This thermal pool has been around since the 1770s and is about 40 degrees Celsius or 104 Fahrenheit.
it's warm.
This pool, because of its high iron content, it's orange, but the high concentration of minerals in the water is thought to have some therapeutic benefits, so it's been a popular tourist destination since the 1930s. But one thing to note about visiting here is that you want to wear a dark colored bathing suit or one that you don't care about staining, because the orange water does stain everything.
Yeah.
After we felt sufficiently heated through, we hit the road and we had some snacks on the way. Cut up veggies are a great car snack.
When in doubt, carrot sticks. And then on the way back, we kind of got a hankering for that pizza. It was really good. And this was exciting. They had a vegan, they had a special. And then we asked if we could veganize the special. And they said yes. Jeanette's.
So we ordered the vegan pizza that we'd had before, but we also ordered the special, which was a 3-cheese, pear, and sage pizza. And I asked if they could make it with their vegan cheese. And they did. So again, the staff was so friendly, so helpful.
And you got another laryngiata.
I did.
Simple pleasures.
Just like you remember.
Just a flashback from my childhood, Portuguese orange pop. We didn't have it at home, but my grandparents owned a catering business. So I think we always had laranjada and like ginger ale on all of the tables.
On to our last full day now.
Day 8.
Day 8.
Made ourselves some little sandwiches with some mashed chickpeas and some olives. It's not quite my lentil olive hummus, but it'll do. And some tomato, avocado, and lettuce, and these Portuguese rolls.
Fresh from the bakery.
Fresh from the bakery. Might have a little bit of butter in them. We're not sure, but excited to go home and make my own version of these, which I know are butter-free. The mashed chickpeas and olives are surprisingly not bad.
After our coffee and a walk, the weather was looking really nice in Mosteiros, so we decided to head up to Cidades. I have been to this lagoon a number of times where it's pretty obstructed by cloud, but you can still see the crater, and you could not see anything.
I mean, I couldn't see 50 feet in front of me. It was,
But the good thing is that we got really nice photos from when we were there 2 years prior. And although this was a bust, it happened to still be a beautiful day in Mosteiros. So we headed back down and we went over to Steve's and we had some leftover pizza, we had some carrots, we hung out on his wall.
We watched people swim in the natural pools. We watched the tide come in, the tide go out. We watched the sun set.
And we had another coffee.
Lovely way to spend the day.
Day 9, travel day.
Boo.
So we finished off as much food as we could. We packed some PB&J sandwiches and some other snacks for the first leg of our journey home. And this was a flight to Terra Island for an overnight layover. And the dinner we had here was kind of a funny experience.
I don't know what this is. I think, well, they said it was a fruit salad. Kind of looks like he just poured a bunch of orange juice over it. The nice man who brought it up to us.
Nice and refreshing though.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. But this tastes like a soup that Catherine Zavot makes. It's got beans and couve, like kale. I know there's some, it's like
some
blended
potato.
Mm-hmm.
Potato, white beans. Our peanut butter sandwiches. And what else? Some fruit. And some cookies have been getting us through the travel day. If we eat anything interesting tomorrow, we'll let you know.
Highly doubt.
So takeaways from this trip. You can definitely be vegan on São Miguel, but you might not be on a culinary journey to accompany your sightseeing. A big reason I created the recipes in our vegan Portuguese cookbook is so that you can experience some of those traditional flavors, the traditional meals, but with plant-based ingredients. And so I try to capture the feeling of the traditional dishes and just some of those flavors that you a lot of the times miss out on if you're traveling as a vegan and resorting to burgers and salads and not getting to experience the traditional food of the area you're in.
The recipes in the book are also recipes you grew up eating. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm curious to travel to mainland Portugal because I suspect there's lots more vegan options there. But on the island, if you're vegetarian, then you will have more options and you can taste some of the local cheeses. But if you're a strict vegan, then you will likely have to get some groceries and do a bit of cooking to supplement eating out. Mm-hmm. If you're staying in the city, then you have the big supermarket, which will have lots of options. But I was surprised at how well we made out with just the smaller grocery stores. And the one in Jeanette had a lot more options. There was an even smaller grocery store in Mosteiros that didn't have plant milk and had beans and had nuts and had veggies and produce, of course, but didn't have as many other plant-based alternatives. My top tips if you don't want to spend a lot of time cooking are to make breakfast at your accommodation because that's by far the easiest, and then have some easy snacks that you can take with you on the road, like fruits and vegetables, nuts,
seeds, granola, trail mix,
PB&J,
PB&J.
some salads, and just kind of staying satiated throughout the day on those things, and then you can see how you fare at a restaurant for dinner. And if you want to make sure that everything is vegan and doesn't include dairy, then make sure to ask. And I think you would do pretty well with speaking to the employees in English and them being able to accommodate you.
Yeah.
So we hope that you have liked this little glimpse into what it's like to travel to São Miguel.
And comment, let us know if you want to see more videos like this where we travel around, even if it's just here on Vancouver Island, what we eat, how we pack lunches and go to the beach or stuff like that. Let us know what you want to see more of, because we have fun making stuff like this and we have fun hearing from you. So shout out.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.